Hey everyone, Veronica here, and I'm excited to share with you 4 easy comfort meals that can be made in 20 minutes or less using Trader Joe's vegan ingredients. So all of these meals were made as part of my January Extreme Grocery Budget Challenge. So check out that playlist in the description below for all of the recipes that I did throughout the month of January using cheap vegan ingredients from Trader Joe's. And if you're new to my channel, welcome and thank you for tuning in. I hope that you like this video and subscribe to my channel for more plant-based tips and tricks. So let's dive into the first recipe. The first one that I'm excited to share is this really delicious chickpea and dumpling soup. So it's kind of like a take on chicken and dumpling soup. I'm using the cauliflower gnocchi from the frozen section of Trader Joe's, 1 can of garbanzo beans, some of this green goddess seasoning, as well as the onion salt seasoning, and then the organic low sodium vegetable broth from Trader Joe's. This broth is so delicious and it's just $2 for the whole container. I added a little bit of nutritional yeast, a little bit of flour, some olive oil, and some diced up carrots and onions. You're going to need a large stock pot, and it's really recommended that you get everything in place before you start actually cooking this recipe. And like I said, this recipe takes just about 20 minutes. So first you're going to heat a little bit of olive oil in a skillet, and you're going to saute some onions and carrots until they're tender for just about 5 to 7 minutes. Then I added 1/4 cup of flour, and I whisked that together with the olive oil and the carrots and onions to make what's called a roux. A roux is basically a culinary term that is a way to thicken soups. So you use fat and flour together to thicken a soup. Then I added the whole container of the low sodium vegetable broth and stir it all around. Then you're going to add the drained and rinsed can of garbanzo beans, 1 to 2 teaspoons of seasonings. It just depends on how much seasoning you prefer. Then I added about a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast gives this like kind of a nice cheesy umami flavor and does add some nice B vitamins. Then I added about 2 cups more of water, and you're just going to simmer this soup down for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's nice and thick. In the last few minutes, you're going to add the cauliflower gnocchi. These only need to simmer for about 6 minutes, so make sure you add those towards the end of your cooking time. Then your soup is ready to serve. Look how delicious and hearty this is. Those cauliflower gnocchi are just so delicious. Those are perfect little dumplings, and it pairs really, really nicely with the chickpeas that add protein, and that low sodium broth just really added a lot of flavor. All right, for the second recipe, we're going to be making these masala burgers with some whole wheat English muffins, and we're going to serve them with a side of these vegetable samosas. So Trader Joe's has so many vegan frozen items, and these masala burgers are definitely one that I would recommend for a quick and easy burger meal. The vegetable samosas are so good. These are basically like little pockets filled with potatoes and seasonings. As a really cheap and quick and easy bun, I'm just toasting up the whole wheat English muffins, and as a quick and easy sauce, I'm just serving this with some barbecue sauce. I did everything to prepare this meal in my air fryer. I like to use the Power XL air fryer. This has just been my go-to air fryer for several years. It's really cheap. I purchased it on Amazon. I'll share a link in the description below. First, I toasted up those English muffins. When those were done, I cooked up the samosas. Those took just about 8 minutes in the air fryer. Then I pulled those out, and then I cooked up the masala burger patties in there as well, and that took just another few minutes. So altogether, I was able to prepare this really delicious burger meal in just about 20 minutes using the air fryer. If you don't have an air fryer, you can prepare this in an oven, it just is going to take a little bit longer, so just plan ahead for that. To assemble this, I just put a little bit of the barbecue sauce as my sauce on those English muffins. I added a cooked patty. I put a little lettuce, some sliced onions on top, and then I covered it with the other half of the English muffin, and it was ready to serve. I served it with those samosas and then a little bit more of that barbecue sauce to dip those in. And this was a huge hit with my family. It was packed with protein and flavor, and it's just like a nice, comforting meal, especially during the cold winter months. All right, for the third recipe, I made a black bean chili. This was actually one of the freezer meals that I prepared. I reheated the chili in the Instant Pot. And by reheating, I actually cooked it in the Instant Pot because this was actually not a cooked meal. It was just a frozen meal that I had put together. So I cooked it in the Instant Pot on high pressure for just a few minutes. Then I also cooked up that cornbread mix. If you've seen in my other videos, I shared the cornbread mix, and I had some ideas of how I was going to prepare this as an oil-free version and a vegan version. So this was so delicious when I prepared it. I did use a little bit of non-dairy organic soy milk, but you can use any milk or even water if you have. And instead of oil, I used 1 container of the organic applesauce. And instead of eggs, I used some ground flax seeds mixed with water. And check out these new non-stick steel muffin pans that I found from the Martha Stewart brand at Grocery Outlet. These were so great. I really liked using these. It was my first time baking with them. So first what I did was I preheated my oven. Once I preheated my oven, I started cooking my bean chili in my Instant Pot. If you don't have an Instant Pot, I definitely recommend checking this out. This has been my new favorite small kitchen appliance. It cooks dishes really quickly and saves you a lot of time and energy. If you don't have that, you can just cook that frozen meal in a stock pot for about 30 minutes on medium heat. While your chili is cooking, you're going to prepare your cornbread batter. I made these into corn muffins so that they would cook in less time. So that's definitely a little trick that you can do if you don't want to take too much time to prepare this dinner. Instead of eggs, I just whisked together the ground flax seeds mixed with some water to make a vegan egg. Then I added the applesauce instead of the oil that the box called for. Then I added my vegan egg with the milk and the applesauce into the cornbread mix, and I just gave it a good whisk and mixed all of those ingredients together. And then my batter was ready to portion into my muffin tins. This made about 10 cornbread muffins, and they were so delicious. The applesauce adds like a nice sweetness, and I really liked that these were totally oil-free, or they didn't have any added oil. So this was just a really nice, hearty, and healthy, whole food, plant-based meal that I prepared in 20 minutes. So after these were done baking, I just pulled them out of the oven. I made sure that they were nice and brown on the top. I gave it another 3 minutes so that they could cook fully, and then they were done and ready to serve. And look how delicious they came out. They were so hearty and golden brown and paired really nicely with that frozen meal. So you can check out my link in the description below for how to prepare this vegan chili that I did as part of my freezer meal prep in my January Extreme Grocery Budget Challenge. I did have leftover chili and cornbread, so we served that for 2 different meals. I topped it with some shredded cabbage to give it some nice cruciferous vegetables, and that was it. All right, and for the 4th recipe, this was so delicious and so easy. This was a white bean and pesto pizza. I used the pizza dough from Trader Joe's, which is really easy and cheap to prepare. The package says that it makes 8 servings, but to be honest, I would say it's really 4 servings. So I did serve this for 4 meals. And then I put some of the vegan pesto from Trader Joe's on top, a drained and rinsed can of the white beans, and then just whatever seasonings you prefer on top. First, I want to make sure you preheat your oven so that this doesn't take very long to prepare. Then you just open up that dough and spread it on a greased baking sheet. If you want to limit the amount of oil, you can also roll this dough out using just a little bit of flour on a cutting board, but I was just in a hurry and this was just the quickest and easiest way to handle this dough. I did keep this dough in the freezer and I pulled it out the day before so that it could thaw in the refrigerator for when I was ready to serve it. I cut the dough in half and then after that, I just placed some of the vegan kale, basil, and pesto from Trader Joe's on top as my sauce. This pesto is so delicious and I love that it has kale in it and it's just packed with, delicious flavor and vegan nutrition. So it makes a really great pizza sauce. I think it's $4 for the container. I think the dough was about $2 and then the can of beans was $1.09. So this basically was like $7 to make 4 meals of delicious homemade pizza. Then I just topped it with the drained and rinsed beans and I just put a little seasoning on top and then I baked it in the oven. This was like so easy to make pizza. Sometimes pizza can be kind of like a headache to make because there's so many toppings to think about. And when you're vegan, then cheese is kind of an issue. I don't really like to eat the vegan cheese substitutes, so it's kind of tricky. But I've found that adding beans or like hummus to the pizza gives it that nice, hearty, cheesy type of consistency without having to put a bunch of vegan cheese on top of your pizza. But you can also add that if you do prefer. I sprinkled a little bit of the sofrito on one of the sides, and then I did the green goddess seasoning on the other side. I baked this in the oven at 475 degrees. I started with 10 minutes, but I did add another about 5 to 6 minutes, and then it was finished cooking. These were so good. I cut it into 4 big slices, and my family really enjoyed this. In fact, I enjoyed it so much, I think I ate 2 of those slices. So definitely check out the vegan pizza doughs and that kale pesto at Trader Joe's. Well, I hope you enjoyed this 4 vegan, quick, hearty comfort meals using Trader Joe's ingredients. And I hope that you like this video and subscribe to my channel. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.